We're in my parents' attic at the moment. This is where I make the majority of my music. I've got some drums on a record that I think I'm going to try and work with, and then just add a few other samples and try and get the Prophet on there. Yeah, use a bit of the modular stuff as well. That's kind of what I'm aiming to do. I don't really know what style it would be at the moment. I don't know yet. We'll just have to see. Hi, this is O'Flynn, and I'm going against the clock for fact. I might not have time to do this bit. That went very, very quickly. My hands were shaking at the start as well. Yeah, I think it went all right. 10 minutes is just, I've never really made stuff in 10 minutes before. I take months and months and months to get a good idea. And I go through maybe 50 to 100 ideas before one of them's usable. That wasn't natural at all for me. So is there anything I could change? Would just be keep working. Keep working at it, I think. But yeah, I thought it went okay though for 10 minutes, yeah. Quite a lot of the time I try and start with samples, and then you can build something around a sample, and that way it's quite hard if you start with a drum beat first or whatever and then try and fit a sample into that. I find that a bit more difficult, so I try and start with something. The sample doesn't have to be on vinyl, it could be off, you know, something off YouTube or CD or whatever. Quite a lot of the time it is off vinyl though, because there is just a lot of weird music and sounds that you can buy on vinyl. Where would I go to find a good sample? Generally record stores, and it's always the record. It's never really the super expensive records where the really good, for me, where the really good samples are. It's usually the one that's like kind of forgotten and sort of in the corner, and will be low price because of the quality of stuff. You find. I've found the best samples from just, from looking hard, and it's in unexpected places. So this is why it's worth listening to a lot of like music, even if the record cover's terrible or something. It's, you know, so there might be one sound on there. It might be 20 tracks of absolutely awful music, and then one sound can give you just complete gold. There's a place called Ben's Records. I think it's called Ben's Records, yeah. Ben's Records in Guildford, which is just so much of me. It's all secondhand and just stacks and stacks and stacks of it. Yeah, I found the Desmond's Empire sample there, and that was one of the most important. It was probably the best sample I've ever found, I think. And then there's also, I mean, Sounds of the Universe in London's just got loads of great old music, and they have original African music there. The record I used for just there came from Lyon, Emile Records. But there's also Sofa Records in Lyon where I bought a load of records from, which are all, again, really good for world music and stuff. This is the cover. Yeah, it's kind of, the backside's kind of blurred, so maybe if you put like 3D glasses on, it might look 3D. It kind of looks like that effect. Yeah, I mean, vocals can come from anywhere. Like, the one I just used in that was a Brandy, just a cappella, which you can get on like these downloads off websites and stuff, but sometimes you can find a really good vocal sample on records, and it would be like when the music drops out and there might be like a clip of, but there is actually a great vocal sample on this as well, but I want to use it for something something else. Okay, so I started with the drum loop off the record, which is this. And yeah, you just find like a bar or two of a loop. So it goes again, and then you cut it. And all I do is I do this all the time. I cut. This is what happens if you start with the sample. You cut the at the first beat, which is with the scissor tool, and then you find the beat where it's about to start again and cut there, and then you just drag the tempo until the what you've done, which was an exact loop, fits the bar of this. So the tempo of this is 118.25. So you get like sort of more precise tempos because you're going to, this probably wasn't recorded to a click track. Then I added some just stuff to like, if we're going with this, added the kick, claps. These claps are a Logic loop, so they just snap to the time. Like Ableton does that anyway with other stuff, but Logic loops, if you set it to a Logic loop, it can just go in time to the claps. And then just a hi-hat on the off, very simple, just gives it slightly more energy. I started with an ARP on the Prophet, and then I ran it through the Morphogene here. And that created this kind of almost granular effect. And I just looped that, because there's no real time of that. You can just sort of cut it wherever. That's not synced up or anything. And then I put in just some chords from the Prophet, which I kind of guess all the chords I play, but I was just playing the black notes, which generally work together, whatever you hit. Something I definitely do when working not under 10-minute time limit is to work out better chords, but I just didn't have the time to do it. So I just had to go with whatever I randomly did. Kind of works with, it sounds nice with that kind of granular crystallizer sort of thing. And then I put in some little effects from the DFAM. Just this. And the DFAM's already, it's MIDI synced to the computer, so it's automatically just going to be in time with that 118.25. The 808, the little 808 thing there is also going to be in that exact time. So is the electron rhythm, which I didn't use, but so you could have a synth jam and it'd all be synced up, which is super helpful. And then the last thing I did, frantically and quite messily, is put in this vocal sample, which needs turning up slightly. It's just a brandy vocal sample. I would actually probably take it out now I've heard it back. It adds a little bit more of a melody to, there's not really a melody in here, so yeah, and then that's actually it. And then I just tried to do a bit of a structure, but didn't really have time to finish that.